expecting. I suppose this will bring us to the powerhouses, should I say, in this division, because that's by and large, I imagine, come prediction time in August, September. This is where teams will be leaning in terms of who wins this division. And we're going to go to the Ravens. Conor, I'll come to you. Like Lamar Jackson, the saga is over. He finally gets the contract. He doesn't have an agent. His mother seems to be involved in negotiation, which for me kind of derailed a lot of this and kind of the miscommunication between both parties for so long. But they bring in Odell Beckham, say Flowers in the first round. There's a few other wide receivers, kind of serviceable wide receivers brought in. And the Ravens have never been a team that seems to go very heavy in terms of trying to get wide receivers in. But it kind of feels like they're doing their utmost to give Lamar everything that he wants to prove that he is the quarterback that he believes he is, and ultimately put his team in a position to win games offensively, because they've had their troubles defensively over the past few years. And Wink Martindale was the fall guy. You know, many felt the offensive coordinator should have went. They went the route to getting rid of their defensive people, and they haven't really kind of recovered from that side of things. But you'd expect them with Lamar and these players to be offensively on their game.
Yeah, and it's interesting watching the Lamar Jackson, Todd Monken love in as well from the training camp so far. It's all about him getting the keys to the offense and, you know, moving away from Greg Roman, who very rarely let Lamar change the play at the line of scrimmage, and that was frowned upon. And they never went no huddle, so they never did that whole tempo thing. I think they had the lowest no huddle percentage of any team in the NFL during Greg Roman's time as offensive coordinator there, which seems very strange when you have somebody as explosive as Lamar is and who's capable of the kind of improvisation that he is, that you don't want to, you know, change things up, give the defense no time to prepare and let him go to work. And, you know, one of the things I guess the Ravens took a huge amount of credit for in the early stage of Lamar's development was going out of their way to make sure they put him in a scheme and that they put players around him that could get the most out of his talents as a runner while he was developing as a passer. Then they start getting criticism for maybe not properly unlocking his gifts as a passer, which, you know, when you were seeing him at his best were absolutely incredible and led to that MVP season in 2019. And it was clearly time to move on. But I think probably the question mark for them will be whether Todd Monken is the right person to move on to, given his previous experience in the NFL, you know, wasn't exactly all that memorable, you know, albeit that he's gone back to college game, went back to Georgia. They've won back-to-back national championship games and produced their fair share of explosive football, something that Lamar is really enthused by and wants to see some of that brought to a Baltimore context. Lamar's probably never had a better set of weapons around him either. So he's got to be really excited heading into this season. You know, we talked about the Steelers going hard in the offseason. One of the, you know, famous Ravens records, of course, is that they have the longest preseason winning streak in NFL history. Like, they go out even to win preseason games. Like, they don't accept second best, even in games that to other teams don't mean anything. So they'll be ready to rock. Given that they went and gave the Bengals their fill of it, and, you know, I talked about, we were saying that the Chiefs arguably had the rub of the green against the Bengals in the championship game last year. Bengals probably slightly got out of jail against the Ravens, who were playing without Lamar Jackson, and still really put it up to them. And, you know, only for that big man length of the field touchdown after they stopped the Ravens on the 1 yard line. Who knows what way that one would have finished up. So they give teams plenty of it no matter who they put on the field. They had a lot of injury issues last season. Ronnie Stanley obviously was another one that kind of cost them dearly and undermined their efforts. But if they're in good shape, I'd say they're probably a lot of people's dark horses for the Super Bowl, all things considered. Now that everything seems to be sorted on the Lamar situation and with everything else they've got around them.
Nelson Aguilar, another speedster, column comes in again, touching on the point that they're giving him as many weapons as he possibly can. But in terms of the level of expectations for Lamar, like, we see him every year, and like you've touched on during the show numerous times, that you just couldn't get over the fact that this took so long to get the contract signed. But we touched on Deshaun Watson, the level of expectation for him having the fully guaranteed contract. But is Lamar going to put himself? Are they going to a new kind of era and phase and period within the Ravens where so much will be expected of him now to ultimately put the team over the top and get them at least to a championship game, or certainly winning this division?
Yeah, probably, but I think Lamar's okay with that. I mean, again, like, when you consider his age, right, and how he's got about business, like I I will say it again. I'm absolutely shocked the Ravens allowed it to get where it did. I mean, he is on and off the field. Everyone you talk to talks about him being absolutely top class. And I will go back, and I know Connor has talked earlier. I mentioned the Bears defense. I saw Vic Fangio dare Lamar Jackson. He doubted that Lamar could beat him through the air, and Lamar went out and proved him wrong. So I think Lamar Jackson is gifted. I think you mentioned Brian around Wink Martindale. I think that was unfair, but I don't think they ever allowed Lamar to be Lamar. Now we're going to see. Could this be a case of, let Russ cook? Oh dear, the kitchen's on fire, the house is on fire. I don't think it will be. I believe in Lamar, and I think putting the weapons around him is the way to go. Say Flowers is a nice pick up there as well. The piece where we just have to see what it looks like. I mean, the losing Ben Powers, I do think that is a loss. That's probably of him and McGlinchey. I'm more happy that the Broncos picked him up. I think he's truly one of the outstanding guards in the league, and I think that will be a little bit of a loss for them. But we will see. I mean, again, we're doing this kind of off-season review. We're going to come back obviously later in the summer and kind of with a proper preview and to see. Like, there are some guys out there, to me, they have moved on from Marcus Peters currently. I'm wondering if they're going to bring him back in. To me, that was always, like, the vibe has felt off in Baltimore for the past couple of years. And you talked about Wink Martindale, but there were lots of other moments that just looked kind of weird. Like, they threw Tyler Huntley under the bus, I felt, for that loss. Peters was screaming at Harbaugh on the sideline. There were lots of moments that just kind of felt that things weren't right. I think Lamar getting the contract, I think bringing in the new OC, I think that's resetting it. And I think they will look at it. And while obviously the Bengals are exceedingly talented, when they know each other, and as Connor has highlighted, even like geographically, none of these are enormous kind of distances in comparison to, say, some of the divisions. So I think it's a bit like family, and you don't obviously maybe see or be as overawed when it's a divisional rival as when it's in a different conference and people have to go up against them. So they see Burrow and his three amigos as just another game and somebody that they're going to beat up on. I expect them. I really think they will go toe to toe with the Bengals, and I think that all of the questions, because like last year, from like last summer, it just was the Lamar Jackson question. When is he going to sign? Is it going to get done? And it really overshadowed everything. That's done. Fresh start. I see no reason why they can't go toe to toe with the Bengals.
Agree with that, Connor, before we close out on the Ravens? Fair to say, did they go toe to toe?
Absolutely. We saw them not at full power last season and still able to get it done, get to the playoffs, which was enough of an achievement in and of itself, given the Lamar injury and at the point that occurred. And we saw them step up to the plate, as I just mentioned, when they got there too. They step up to the plate every single time, and I fully expect that they're going to contend for that division, which counts for a lot when you've got the sort of talent that they have and you've got the sort of hard-nosed coaching that you're going to get from Harbaugh during the season. I think that's going to be one of the more interesting tussles to watch in and among any of the divisional battles that we're going to follow this season.